Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Bay Care Clinic, Cobblestone Creek, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, Mill Home Supper Club, Festival Foods, Capital Credit Union, and North Star Mohican Casino Resort.
Helpful critiques, ideas, great stories, people we should know, the great bar in your town, the fish fry you want to know, the fish boil, anything that you want to reach out to us with. We are happy. We are here. You can be the inputters. We're here to listen. All right, Bucci, enough about you and I, because we never like to talk about ourselves, as you know. We want to be humble. We don't want to, okay, fine, we had hole-in-ones and par 4, but we don't want to make a big deal out of that thing.
Hashtag humility.
Whatever it is. But hockey season is upon us.
Yeah.
I think once upon a time you said to me what you had asked years ago, like, what's your favorite hockey team? And I said, well, the Badgers, right? Because we don't really have a pro hockey team.
Yeah.
By the way, the Milwaukee Admirals, shout out to them. They were very good to us. They come and find us as we got off the course in Milwaukee Country Club.
Two awesome sweaters.
We're big on that. But college hockey and the Badgers, and when they're good, they're special down in Madison. You've been to that place. Yeah. Give me a forecast right now where you see the Granado Badgers here.
Well, on the men's side, obviously it's a rebuilding year. They were loaded last year. That was their year possibly to add another national championship to the trophy case. Cole Caulfield, he was the runaway Hobie Baker winner. It was a pleasure to call his games. I called some his freshman year, and then to see him make that huge step on his sophomore year. And then when he was about to sign and when you knew he was going to go pro and people were wondering, could he be a factor? And then the Canadians sent him down to the minors, and then they didn't dress him for a playoff game. I'm like, what are they doing? This guy is Alex Ovechkin skilled. Like his finish, his release, he can score from anywhere. And then we saw what he did in the playoffs. And I think he'll win Rookie of the Year this year, over under 35 goals or so. Should play with a good player, Nick Suzuki. So yeah, they were really loaded last year. They had experience and they had a star, but it's hard to win in the NCAA tournament. They're all road games. And with COVID hanging over everybody's head, that had to be a stressful time for those student athletes. Some games were canceled. So Tony's going to be regrouped this year, but they have a good pipeline of prospects coming in. They have a good, they do have some experienced guys on the back end, but the women, they're number one right now on the Bucci Maine College Hockey Top 11 poll.
Screenshot it today.
There it is. You can find it on Twitter at any time. So once again, Mark Johnson has a wagon, a Wisconsin wagon filled with women, and they are good. And they, of course, a thrilling national championship last year. This year's the women's Frozen Fours at Penn State in Pagula, which is a great place to play. I'd love to be able to call that. I'd like to add that to the broadcasting resume. I haven't called a women's Frozen Four yet. The men are in Boston, so I'll be there this year. So so the women, once again, a wagon. The men, we'll see. Pesky, go root for them, fill the place up. But yeah, I remember talking to Adam Burrish back when I went back to Blake Jeffrey on charity event a few years back. Blake in the Wisconsin Hall of Fame, congratulations. But Adam was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I grew up to play for. I dreamed of playing for the Badgers, not the NHL. That was his dream, to play for the Badgers. Like you said, that's the effect they had on people, and it would be great to get that back again.
So every week we do a top 5. So we're subletting it this year. We're farming it out to you. So give us I know the season just is underway, so we're still going to call it. Give me the preseason hashtag college hockey Bucci Maine top 5 men's.
Yeah, for the men, well, Michigan. I have Michigan number 1. Many don't. They are loaded with number 1 draft picks. They have the overall number 1 pick and the overall number 2 pick from this past draft. Owen Power, Matty Beniers. They have Kent Johnson, who was the Blue Jackets' first pick. Luke Hughes, Quinn's brother. So they are loaded. I have them number 1. Most people, put UMass preseason number 1 because they won last year. But right now, it's Wisconsin. St. Cloud State should be back. They are loaded. They were in the Frozen Four last year. The only D1 sport at that school is hockey. I think they'll be back again. Minnesota State, they just swept UMass, the defending national champions, in Amherst. So they certainly are right there at number 3. And number 4, quite frankly, I forget.
It's close enough. I don't know.
Oh, Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. Sorry, Wisconsin. But the Gophers are currently number 4, and John gives me a bad look. I'm sorry. After all you did for me this past weekend, I put the Gophers at 4. I could have put Northeastern number anybody, but you
know what? I'll take Minnesota over North Dakota still.
Okay, still all right.
That's just me. So How did the college, tell people how the college hashtag college hockey thing not only came along, but it's really exploded, right? Like you've attached a whole identity of yourself and the sport. Like it's amazing how it's intertwined right now. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, I mean, college basketball was already big in 1980, 81, 82. It was already huge for 20, 30 years. But Dick Vitale kind of gave the sport pom-poms when ESPN started broadcasting games on a weekly basis. And I think that's all I really did. Once I got named the Frozen Four play-by-play guy 9 years ago, I felt like, you know what, I owe this sport to be all in, to really follow the narrative throughout the season. Just don't show up at the Frozen Four and try to learn players' names. Really be there throughout. Luckily, Twitter's a place you can kind of create your own network of things, your own TV network, your own media network, and just kind of do what you want to do. Be your own producer and just keep it fun. It's always fun for me. And all the stuff kind of starts out of thin air, never really well planned. Just me and Van Pelt when he did the Sports Center. Just kind of doing the Boston accent, different things with the Boston accent, and just one day saying college hockey, and then the whole Miracle movie when they ask him, hey, Coxie, why do you play college hockey? Isn't it obvious? For the girls. So I just threw college hockey. Whenever I did a college hockey tweet, I would just put that hashtag college hockey. And just I notice when I do stuff on Twitter, I just pay attention. You can kind of sense what has a little bit of traction, whether it's the chicken parm reviews I currently do, or whether it's college hockey or Bucci overtime challenge. I just pay attention. If it got traction, I'll go with it. If it doesn't get any, I cast it aside. It's just I'm just a promoter of sports fun. That's all I want to do. Let's have a little community, a little fun, and go with it. If it doesn't work, I cast it aside. If it works, I'll just keep going one step at a time and see how far it takes me. So yeah, we sold hats and T-shirts and giving money away, and now I'm going to have a little name, image, likeness brand ambassadorship with a couple women's hockey players. I should announce that next week. One is a Badger.
Good.
And one is a Northeastern Husky. So a couple women, just to give them a chance to make them feel like a big deal, give the women's game some shine. And so to help, I get a hoodie with college hockey and their number on it. So keep it a little subtle, but for them, they know it's for them. So yeah, I'm excited to do that for them and to continue help to grow the women's game.
You're a conduit of joy. That's what you are.
Yeah, just joy.
It doesn't take us long, though, if we get into the conversation and start talking about all the different roots that Wisconsin has in hockey. I mean, we talked about John Cooper was the head coach of the Green Bay Gamblers. Yep. I mean, the Admirals show up at Milwaukee Country Club and all the Badgers. Do you have a memory, Bucci, where this is the Wisconsin hockey moment that you recall most?
Well, I had such a great time at the Blake Jeffrey on charity event a couple of summers ago, 3-4 summers ago. J.J. Watt showed up and did a penalty shot. He can really skate. Going afterwards with the guys, going the college corner there and going back into the secret compartments there and talking with Joe Pavelski. And we mentioned Adam Burish. Just all the great Wisconsin players. Pat Derek Stepan had a little charity golf tournament that was attached to that weekend as well to raise money, which Blake raised a bundle for. Just getting to know Blake Jeffrey on, who's just an A+ human being. So that whole weekend for me was really my big, and obviously, like I said, I'm friends with Tony Granato, Mark Johnson, just to know these guys on a first name basis, especially Mark Johnson, Miracle on Ice. I'm 13 years old. They don't win the gold medal without Mark Johnson. I mean, now, he sees me, hey, John, that still blows my mind. I do not take that stuff for granted. So yeah, that was the Blake event, and then calling a couple games and just going out, calling a game. And then, I called one last winter with, Colby Cohen and Sean Richland, and they're great hockey guys. And just to go to these different bars and these cool spots, it's really a big thrill. And that's one of the best parts of the business is all these people you get to meet with and then meet the people and meet the community. And that's why I love hockey. Hockey is an intimate sport. It's people are fun and they're passionate. They'll cry, they'll get in a fight with you, they'll laugh and they'll cry. And that's what I just love, that kind of, it's been such a blessing to get involved in hockey because it's such a tight community.
You mentioned Mark Johnson in high school, which we're the same age, within a few months.
Yep.
They had a team that won some national championships, but on the same team, they had Chelios, Pat Flatley, and Bruce Driver. Do you know how many goals and years and all-star games just those three guys on the same team? And then they had great players beyond that. But just those three guys alone that's 40 years in the league.
Yeah, I wrote a column for ESPN.com, top 20 USA-born hockey players of all time. And, Patty Kane ended up being number 1. But I had Mark Johnson number 20, not just because of his miracle on ice and obviously his great coaching career, what he's done at Wisconsin, but he was a good NHL player. Unfortunately, he played on bad teams. He produced at a big level. So when you take it in totality, much like Neil Broughton over in Minnesota, like to me, that's a top 20 hockey life. Like what a career, what a contribution he's made to the game, not only to help Miracle on Ice and what that did for hockey popularity in the U.S., going to the NHL and proving that he was a good player, and you can see why they won better than the people probably thought they were. The underrated moniker is probably overrated now. They were good. Yeah. There were guys who went on to have really good careers. And now what he's doing to the women's game, he's helped growing the women's game, which is obviously the part of hockey and part of all sports that has the most growth potential. So, man, what a hockey life for Mark Johnson. That's why, to me, he's a top 20 USA hockey guy of all time.
And Chelios would be where? He's got to be in there, right?
Yeah, he's top 5 for me. He's part of our ESPN coverage, which is awesome this year. He'll be on in between periods of our ESPN ABC games with Mark Messier, Steve Levy. I'm doing a couple as well. The Seattle Kraken first home games on ESPN. Levy's going to do the play-by-play, so I'll be in studio in between periods with Mess and Chelios. Did some World Cup stuff with Chelly. Just a monument. No one's ever partied more and been more fit than Chris Chelios in his NHL career. That guy played till he was like 48, but in his 40s, that guy's a freak in nature and cool family. His daughter's a great hockey broadcaster as well. Boys played at Michigan State. I broadcasted a couple of their games, so yeah, it's good to have Chelly aboard as well.
All right, so tell the people, so we can see the point where we're going to get some plugs in. You see the point where?
Yeah, a lot of ESPN too. Well, sometimes we'll be on ESPN. I think we'll have multiple shows next week as well, the first week of the NHL season. So it's really well produced. I just got off a little Zoom call with Tortorella and Kevin Weeks, and Messier will be there, and Emily Kaplan. It's really a great chance for hockey to get a 1-hour show that's going to be really well produced with information and fun, where we're going to have chicken parm reviews as well. And so we're really going to try to make it fun and look at. So just look for it in the afternoon, 4:00. ESPN2, I think, is the standard 3 or 4 o'clock, right around there. And please follow along.
The most recent chicken parm review. What's something about what is that ACL surgery? Yeah. First class. That was a beauty.
Actually, the very latest, John. Last night, I told Tony, put that back in the dumpster where you found it. It wasn't pretty.
Always good. And then we can follow you where at Bucci, Maine?
Yeah, at Buccigross.
Buccigross.
So yeah, Instagram and Twitter at Buccigross. I give lots of love to cheese, as John knows. Golf, hockey, Midwest, and Kyle golf shoes. Spotted Kyle golf shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Bucci, is there anything left on your Wisconsin bucket list as we wrap this up?
Great call. Well, I got to play. I got to play the golf courses we haven't played yet. John knows those. Aaron Hills and what's it? Sand Valley. Is that the other one?
Yeah. How about shoot a deer? How about away from golf? Do you want to shoot a deer or run one over? 16,000 of them, I run over every year.
That's right. We saw the scoreboard. It's on the highway. Here's 16,000 deer hit last year. And Marco Sicchi, the assistant coach for the men's hockey team, he's a great charity fishing event. I need to get to that. Catch myself a nice big bass in a Wisconsin stream. That could be another thing, But yeah, I got to come up with maybe a little list that I'll put on the Twitter of things I need to do in Wisconsin, or just crowdsource, because the people have great ideas, and we can accomplish a lot that way. But I'll be back. I'll be back in Sconnie soon enough.
Shut up and sit down.